Would you like to meet what I think could just be the worst wife in America? There you go. We're going to look at this video and definitely go in depth with the ridiculous shit that's in her head. But don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to pick on this particular lady. I believe it's a tie with millions of other American and European women for the title of the worst wife in America. Because a lot of times, on this channel, we talk about all the difficulties of dating in America, in Europe, dating Western or Westernized women, even here in Southeast Asia, where I now live, away from women like that. Um, the one thing that I think a lot of people don't talk about is what's happening in the marriages that have, to people who've been married for a while, because those women in those marriages, in those men in those marriages, certainly evolve all the time, where women become, less agreeable, less submissive, less traditional, and men become more simpy, lose respect for themselves, and essentially blur their boundaries. And this what happens. By the way, there are reactions to this video from other women saying, are you insane? You're the worst wife. As a matter of fact, I came up with the title for this video from just a quote of some of the other women, American women, by the way, not as like Thai women saying like, I don't understand this. No, no, definitely American women saying this is insane, but this is how it goes for a lot of wife and marriages. Now, let me show you her homepage or whatever. Do you see the name of her channel? Chaos with Camille, right? I mean, if you have a social media presence and there's quite a few videos, right? If you have a channel called Chaos with Camille, like, how was that not a red flag to her husband? And I don't know if they got married before or after she did this, but it is insane that she is just flat out willing to admit that, yeah, Camille, me, yeah, I'm the one that brings chaos into everyone's life, and because my life is. It is truly unbelievable. So let's get into this video because it's truly unbelievable. And essentially, don't just concentrate on her in particular. I suggest to you that more and more and more wives that might have gotten married as, traditional, submissive, and so forth, get damaged by the modern culture and feminism just as much as single women are. And as a matter of fact, you see a lot of these women who get divorced, right? They become single mothers, and they start feeling like they're beauty queens. And they're feeling it while being in a marriage. Now, of course, as always, I'm going to say that the reason this woman is behaves this way is because her husband allowed her. Her husband chose her and just wasn't able to control the situation, not her, okay? Control the situation and environment around her. Make sure she doesn't have any poisonous new friends, or the friends who turn poisonous are no longer in her life. Make sure to isolate her from, social media and events as much as you can, and make sure her head is straight on her head in understanding what this marriage is all about. He's failed at all of that. And there is a video that she made about that. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me just play that video first, right? This is her replying to, oh, sorry, it's not aligned very well. So just bear with me. It's not that long of a video. So it's her replying to people saying, hey, does your husband know that you're doing this?
None of us care. This is just asking people if they know that I posted the video. Yes, he knows. And yes, he knows 2 million people have seen it now. And he doesn't care. Neither of us care.
Right. So as you can see, she said that her husband saw that she posted this video, that 2 million people saw it, and he doesn't care. Now, there are two sort of two realities here, right? One is he really doesn't care that his wife embarrassed the fuck out of him on social media and posted it. And we'll get to another really bad thing that she did as she posted that. Or she doesn't he didn't tell her that he is deeply hurt by it because he's a simp. He's got nowhere to go, he thinks, right? Instead of getting a divorce, and creating a new life, he's probably goes like, well, but this is, I can't do any better. She beat all of my self-respect and self-confidence out of me. I might as well stick with it. I get laid once a month or whatever, and probably I won't get laid if at all. And it's just basically, it's just a weak man who for some reason chose to continue being married to her. So let's get into this video and see what she actually said.
I don't know if I'm going to actually post this because this is super vulnerable for me and I'm a pretty open person. But earlier this year, I told my husband I wanted a divorce. And this would probably shock a lot of my friends and my family because I hadn't told anybody, okay?
All right. Now, that's the thing that a lot of people had a problem with, and as they should. And this is what her husband should have had a problem with. She essentially shared this with strangers like me on social media, 2 million of them apparently, before she told her own family about this. Now, you know, putting your marriage problem on blast is already unacceptable. If your girlfriend or your wife is essentially publicized your marriage problems or anything that goes inside of your marriage or relationship publicly without your permission, that's it. Divorce tomorrow. You should absolutely be done with it. This is beyond unacceptable. What a horrible violation of this man's privacy and sanctity of their marriage, whatever the fuck that means anymore. As you guys know, you won't find anybody in this community or anybody who is sane who would ever recommend a Western man in America or European country to actually get married. Unless you're just a broke dude who's living off of his check, like, all right. But if you are actually a provider, there is zero benefits of marriage in America. As a matter of fact, it's a contract that you enter that as soon as you sign, the government comes in and tells your wife, hey, listen, just so you know, if you break this contract right now, I'm going to make sure you get paid a lot of money. Why would anybody enter into that contract? I don't know, but apparently some men do. So this is a huge violation of that. Her entire family should be mad at her, right? Then instead of talking to them about it, she just decides to just put it on blast for everybody to see. And look, this video, the fact that she's still keeping this video up, right? I did not download this. This is like still on. And apparently she doesn't care, and her husband doesn't care either. That it blows my mind. What a horrible violation of this marriage and of this man's privacy. And yet, by the way, you will see a lot. I mean, there's some criticism in the comment section of this video, but also there's a lot of like encouragement. Yeah, you go, go proud and stuff like that. Let's see. Can we look at some comments? Your story is my story. Okay, that's horrible. Oh, yeah, I told you. It's just, there's another girl who's tied for the title of the worst wife in America, right? Um, okay, I hope he finds someone he deserves. Yeah, that's a good. But he won't, because he has no self-esteem anymore, right? Another man says, me, I. Yes, you will probably get that impression as we watch that video. So it's true. A man will sacrifice his happiness for his family, but a woman will sacrifice her family for her happiness. That is true. She already has someone in mind to replace her husband. That's probably also true, but we'll see. Poor dude. Well, actually, it is actually much more reasonable comments in the comment section. But I have seen a lot of women just cheering her on, saying, yeah, you girl, those toxic men, right? Those husbands who provide. And all right, well, let's keep watching because this is just the beginning.
I walked myself through the logistics of where would I live, how would we split the time with the kids, who gets the dog, where all of those things, okay?
God, I hope he gets the dog, right? I mean, you want to bet that that dog is a million times better companion and is much happier to see when this man enters his home after a long day of work than his wife. Guarantee you that I hope he gets the dog. Unless it's one of those little tiny little dogs that women buy just whatever to look cool when they're shopping at the bougie mall. But Hopefully it's a real dog. um, yeah, and as you can see, she's planned everything for herself, right? um, hasn't talked much about the kids. Like, have you planned how the transition is going to go to your kids? Because the person who's going to get hurt the most are your children. And yet, just like that one of the comments said, me, I doesn't give a fuck about her own kids. All right.
Okay. Had a full breakdown. I feel like I have been searching for something in my relationship that we don't have for the whole time we've been married, which has been 10 years.
So she's been married for 10 years. And from the very beginning, she feels, right? Like, because the feelings is how you should run your life. She feels that something's been missing. Why the fuck did you get married to this guy? Why did you stay married with this guy? It's not like he's changed. There, if I could understand if the girl said, listen, this guy, had a tough time losing his job, started drinking, got on drugs, and now he beats me every day. Okay. Like, I'll be like, okay, he's changed. Yeah, I understand if you want to quit, as you probably should. But in this case, she entered this marriage already unsatisfied. Obviously, it's not fair to the man because he probably has no fucking clue. Because whenever she shares something, it's with everybody at once rather than him and his family.
I There is not a single thing about my husband in and of himself that I do not love. Let me
How typical is this, right? The girl has a husband that where she loves everything about him. By the way, it is very rare, right? If you love like 70 or 80% of the person you're with, you're in a good shape, right? It's impossible, especially nowadays, to get into a relationship with someone in where you love everything about them, and that wouldn't change at all. But for if in 10 years you still love 100% of everything about your husband, and that's not enough for this princess, which represents pretty much the majority of Western women everywhere in the world, including the ones that come here in Thailand, except for, what happens to women like this in Thailand? I think I've told you guys about this phenomenon that I also kind of realized really recently is happening. When Western women come here already married to their husbands, um, I've seen quite a few times where once the husbands, like her husband, realizes that they married trash, they married a woman who's not loyal, who doesn't, it just, and they realize how useless a lot of these women are. They don't cook, they don't clean anymore. They must, and once they realize how Thai women, or whichever country, Philippine women, Colombian women, Cambodian women, whatever, how their new friends here, how their wives and girlfriends treat, they dump these wives because these wives cannot compete. And that's what happens when men have a choice between women like that and literally all kinds of other women. They bail because they realize, and this is what I suggest to all of you guys at all times, right? If you live in a Western country, in America, Great Britain, whatever, and if you want to be in a genuine relationship and maybe get married again, don't, but you know what I mean, and be in a serious relationship, I'm sorry, you don't have many choices there, if any at all. And my biggest argument to you is that even if for some reason you still find a traditional, submissive, good girl who cooks and cleans and is a good, potential wife, what's going to happen to you if you actually go for it is this. Yes, you will marry a good girl, but can you keep a good girl? Because they turn into this. They turn into like, yeah, I love this man 100% time. He's provided for me. He's a great father. Well, but I want a divorce. I want to leave. That I think I deserve something better, and I'm going to sacrifice my kids' happiness because now they're going to grow up in a broken home. Because 100% loving my husband is not enough, anymore. Can you imagine a woman saying this like 20 years ago? Can you imagine your mother saying this if she's still with your father? You know, like, like so today's my dad's birthday. Actually, he's 96 years old. Okay, my mother is a younger woman, so she's almost 20 years younger than him. They've been together for over 50 years, and they have obviously a traditional relationship, and that's why I still have my balls that I still know what a good woman is, and I still know what a good relationship is, and how a husband and wife can live together as an older man and a younger woman. So I cannot imagine my mother or women like my mother saying, I love your dad, but I love 100% about him. He's been an amazing husband to me for 10 or whatever years, 50 years in my case, but that's just not good enough. I think I can do better. I think I can do better. And fuck the kids. Fuck the kids. You know what I mean? So how how amazing is this? Let me take a quick comment from the comment section. The Rock says, I call him The Rock. He's here every day, so I appreciate it. We're lunch buddies. It's lunchtime here. So women can be damaged simply by the government. The government is the biggest simp in the world. Interesting concept. If simps won't be as common as now, government will still spoil women so that women treat marriage as business. Well, true, right? Yeah, I mean, the government. I don't know if the government is the government is the Sims, biggest drug. I would say. Well, I don't even know. See, the government really has nothing to do with the Sims. Sims are the guys who are stupid enough to actually get married in America, right? And a lot of times, I don't blame them, especially the ones that got married 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I would be like, yeah, sure, as long as you do a prenup, go ahead and get married. Like who could have predicted this, right? Who could have predicted that women who will admit that they're 100% happy, that their husbands are great, they're great fathers, they're satisfied 100%, and they still think they can do better, and they would sacrifice everything, right? So the government is definitely not helping. And I think at this point, because of this, because men are walking away, they don't want this anymore. They realize they're being tricked and, suck the money out of them and suck the life out of them. Once Western men realize that, and that's what's happening, there are less and less men who are getting into relationships, right? More and more men just don't want to have anything to do with women unless it's just sex and that's it. The birth rate is down, the marriage rate is down. So once the government, American government specifically realizes, like, our population is starting to shrink. What should we do? The first thing that I think the government, if they're not 100% stupid, which I think they've been for the last 10 years or so, if our government knows any better, your government, excuse me, they would start getting rid of the laws that essentially make men not want to get married. Alimony, the child support, the way that's done. I'm not saying that child support should completely go away, but it should be flat fee, should be paid directly to the service providers, including grocery stores, and not to the woman who spends pretty much almost no money of the child support on her actual child, and it goes into her boyfriend's, fixing the car or her new purse, right? So until those laws have changed, more and more men will be walking away because government is essentially, you're right, is encouraging women to do this, walking away from a perfectly good husbands because that's not good enough. Now, of course, I can show you a million of other videos of this girl right here, except for like 5 or 10 years later, where now she's in, I don't know, she looks close to 40s, but now she's in her 40s, and she realizes that nobody wants a single mother. Nobody wants a single mother who essentially has also a billboard advertisement on social media of how poisonous she is as a wife. And then she's going to be like, oh, I made the biggest mistake. I love the husband, and he's happy, or he went to Thailand and found himself a 25-year-old girl, and he's happy with her. You know what I mean? The kids hate me. The huge, the regular outcome. And this is what, like I said, I can't emphasize this enough, guys. Get the fuck out of. This is what happens when you even marry a good girl with a good family and stuff like that. They still go bad like this. This is why I've created the millionproject.com website. That's where you can go and see exactly what to expect when you move to another country. Pick the country that you want, improve yourself also, that's very important, and just execute the trip. I got to tell you guys, this wasn't easy. Like, I'm a human being too. Like, I have a family and parents. Like, it's my dad's birthday. This is the third birthday that I'm not celebrating with him, and he's 96, right? I mean, never see him again, right? But it was worth it. It was worth it, getting the fuck out of America, not having to deal with these women, and have access to amazing 25-year-olds. Now, not my target audience. Is just I end up mainly going out with girls in their 20s, and that's what's probably going to happen, because women in their 20s here who actually want a husband, uh obviously going after men like my age, not because of it. Yeah, of course, a lot of it is money, but there are quite a few of them because of not. I had a date with a girl who is 27 yesterday. In the beginning of the week, I had a date with a girl who is 31, and today I'm probably going to meet a girl who's 25, and like I'm not seeking them out. Okay, they a lot of times, again, this is Southeast Asia, they match with me first, right? I'm working off of the list of women that already want to match with me. So come here, there's your recipe, themillionmanproject.com. That's in the bio as well. So, and I have a little bit of promo roll for that in a second. But let's go on with this wonderful candidate for the the worst wife of the year award.
To be very clear about that, he is the most self-disciplined, loyal, hardworking, good person that you could meet on this planet.
And yet, not good enough. Not good enough. She can do better, right?
And that is probably the reason, that is the reason why I have not left. Okay. Our relationship and what my expectations are for my marriage and what they always have been are not met, right?
Right? No, not right. How can your expectations for the marriage not been met by a guy who you love 100%, who's all these things, hardworking, whatever, all those things, and yet they're not met? What the fuck are your expectations? I mean, let's hear it, but I can tell you whatever they are, that's unreasonable. Again, has she not heard herself what she just said, right? How perfect this guy is, and yet her expectations are not met? Maybe he's not the problem. Maybe it's you who has this unreasonable list of expectations. And also, once again, and this I make videos about this all the time, right? We never hear these women tell us what they bring to the table, right? Now, at this point, at 10 years, after two kids, even sexist ain't that, right? Because he's her man, and I've seen there videos of him. He's in shape. He's balding, but he's balding all right, and he's in shape. And I guarantee you that he shows up here in Southeast Asia, he's going to have a good time. He's going to have a good time. He will upgrade for sure. He will upgrade if he comes here in any capacity, right? Even if he doesn't do anything to improve himself, well, he does need to gain some self-respect. But other than that, he can show up here in Southeast Asia and just forget about her within minutes, right? So, but the question that he needs to ask is what is it that she brings to the table? So it's not likely to be sex, right? But what is it? What is it? Unfortunately, the answer is nothing. Nothing. I tell you guys about this amazing phenomenon that's happening in Southeast Asia when women like that who are still single or become single, come here and have to compete with real women, real traditional women with real family values. And that in over 2 years of meeting hundreds, if not thousands of people here at this point, because I'm also including on social media and stuff like that, in doing my research, I've only met two Western women who came here single and actually gotten in the real relationships with men here. Because when men here have choices between women like her, no matter how good looking they are, right? I specifically picked, there's tons of videos like this, by the way. I specifically picked the girl that I think most American men will find somewhat attractive, right? And yet they're walking around here single. We even on my date yesterday, I talked to this my date, and she told me that one of her clients realized that her clients also went out with me one time, and yet another in the beginning when I just got here, right? And that girl is still single, and I only go out with cute girls, I think, here, and that client's still single. In 2 years, she was not able to find a relationship, and she won't. Um, Men, when they have a choice, do not want women like this, because again, they don't have much to offer. Sex, by the way, so sex is no longer a magical huge benefit that women can throw around as sort of a bargaining chip. Sorry, no, it's I, having like I feel like it's harder for me to get a good meal here, even though the food is everywhere and it's delicious, like to decide on a meal, than for me to get laid. It's that it's that available and easy and sometimes cheaper. So it is but besides that, so that's not a thing. Besides that, women just Western women just don't have much to offer, unlike traditional Thai women or whatever other countries you're in, right? I can tell you, a Thai girl who she walks into your apartment for the first time, she will literally tighten it up and wash the dishes before she even takes her shoes off. Okay, she will, like, it's that amazing, right? And then, she can be coming over for just, the fun stuff, but she will still bring you dinner that she cooked for you that day. You know what I mean? And then leave some fruits that she'll cut fresh for you in the fridge for you to eat in the morning. And this is just a casual relationship. This is not even a serious relationship. So, do you understand the fucking contrast between this trash? I'm sorry, just and what you can be around here in or South America? Why the fuck are you still there, guys? I really don't know.
which I don't know if anybody's are. The reason that pushed me to even bring up divorce and talk about it was the fact that I feel like I don't.
Okay, you can't say the fact that I feel. Your feelings are not fucking facts.
I can't be myself with my husband. And it's really confusing because I'm 32 years old.
Oh, she's
I
32. Wow.
am a mom of 3. And
Imagine a 30 girl who is essentially approaching her mid 30s with 3 kids. How is she going to do in a dating market? Now, in America, she will get a bunch of simps and stuff like that, giving her money and stuff like that. But, she'll probably be looking for another perfect husband, right? And simps, which are going to be her only choice, right, uh, aren't going to make a good husband, right? At least in this day and age. She has no value in a dating market, even in America, for what she's looking for her expectations to be met. Like, is she not aware that there's just, I mean, this dude could be beating her and she would probably still not find anything better, right? But he's not. He is, by her own admission, is an amazing husband.
I still don't know who I am.
Okay, so let's follow this fucking logic, right? She still don't know who she is at the age of 32, being a mother, being married. How the what the fuck? Really? You don't know who you are? I can tell you who you are, by the way. You're not gonna like it, but I definitely know who you are. But what the fuck? When you're 17, you don't know who you are. I mean, maybe through college you may not know who you are, but even you're in your 30s, you have a family with children. How the fuck do you know who that? And then she says, again, this is solid female logic, right? And then she says, well, I can't be myself around my husband. Well, first of all, who's preventing you? But secondly, well, if you don't know who you are, how can be yourself around your husband? How do you even know if you're yourself around your husband if you don't know who you are? Oh, like, honestly, like, this is what you guys like dealing with? You guys think that like moving to another country is not worth being the fuck away from this shit? I don't get it.
So for me to be like, oh, I can't be myself or you don't love me for who I am isn't really fair.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, this bullshit is I love me for who I am. That bullshit now. I'm gonna love you for who you are as you're improving and getting better and keep going to the gym. This is such a lazy thing to do. It's like, I don't want to improve. I didn't really make much out of myself by now, but I'm definitely not going to improve. So unless you want to like this mess, yeah, I don't want it. The laziest approach of Western women to what they have to offer, which again is nothing. This is, if you have something to offer as a woman, you would never say, "Well, I just want you to love me for who I am." You know what I mean?
Because I don't know who I am.
We got that.
I'm figuring that out every day. But the reason why I wanted to share this on here in the first place is,
by the way, quick, she's a housewife, right? She doesn't have a fucking job. Tons of time while her kids are in school. Let's face it. Being a housewife is a part-time job at best. There are plenty of women in the world who raise children right and still have a fucking job. Still, she doesn't have enough time, right? Having half a day off every day for the rest of her life, she still hasn't figured out who she is, right?
We are coming up on our 10-year anniversary. We're going to Mexico, to Cabo, for our 10-year anniversary trip.
I'm sorry. Is anybody else confused? Didn't you say that you told your husband you want to get divorced? I don't know why you're still like physically together, but you're going to not only on a trip together, uh, not only he's going to spend more money on your useless ass who wants to divorce him to go to Cabo. By the way, beautiful place, been there twice. What a paradise. Um, why the fuck are you also celebrating your 10-year anniversary there? I and this question is for her husband. If your wife says she wants to get a divorce, why are you still with her and taking her on a anniversary trip? Like, again, this all comes down, like, as ratchet and trashy as she is, right? The reason this is happening is because her husband is a loser, right? I've never met him, and I've only watched the video, one video, just to see what he looks like. And the fact that this loser allows this woman to say, "I want to divorce you," even though you're perfect, I want to divorce you, and he still goes like, "Yeah, yeah, you know what we should do as you're divorcing me? I should spend a lot of money and take you on our anniversary trip." What the fuck is happening here?
And we're rewriting our vows. We never.
Wait. You're rewriting your vows? Are you aware you had vows already that you're obviously not following for sickness and in health? And so far, it's been nothing but in health, it looks like. You've already broken your vows. Why rewrite them? I,
Never wrote vows in the first place. We didn't have vows when we got married.
you didn't. How ironic is this? That's what I was wondering what happened to them. Well, you didn't have any vows, right? Yeah, that's what happens.
And I'm struggling to write my vows.
Oh, well, we're not surprised. We're not surprised. Vows are a promise of commitment, right? And it's also, vows include what you promise to do and be for your husband. I can see how you got nothing to say there, right? You obviously can't keep the most basic promises to what it looks like the best husband in the world, right? And you, again, just by judging your social media presence and the way you're handling this, you don't have much to offer. You're not loyal, you're not honest and straightforward with him, for sure. So yeah, I can see how you're struggling. There is not, I mean, vows are for literally not women like you. Well, this is hilarious. Like, by the way, you guys know that I try to react to this kind of like real time. So like, I'll watch part of the video just to know it's worth for us to review, but then I don't watch, right? So I have some these are, I have not watched this part. So this is getting kind of hilarious slash sad.
Like, to write a vow. And I think that's because I still feel very unsure in our relationship. The one thing that we finally talked about this past week together, because it's just been something that since we kind of talked about it and I brought it up and we committed to change and we committed to working on our relationship. I started my own business. He quit his job. Roles have changed. Life has been crazy.
What? Wait. What? He quit his job and you started your business? Where's my calculator? That shit doesn't add up. I'd like to hear more. Seems like a horrible decision. He quit his job. I'm going to assume that he quit his job is because she thinks he wasn't spending enough time with her, right? And also, she started a business, so now she's going to be the provider, I'm assuming, and fully take his balls away and put in her purse. Wow. I didn't think that I was going to have less respect for this guy, but actually, there is a new law for that. Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. Okay.
And we just haven't come back to talking about this subject.
Yes. You first needed to make a video for everybody else before you talk to your husband about the subject, which again just blows my mind. The most criticism that I've seen, because I've seen other people and especially women react to this video, what blows their mind is not even the fact that, again, this guy's a perfect husband, it's not good enough for her. She has no value on a dating market for what she wants and her expectations, like if she actually was to get a divorce. But the fact that she is betraying his trust in the relationship by essentially, sharing this, which looks bad on him, right? Like, nobody watched this video goes like, wow, I respect that guy. No, you go like, wow, what a poor loser. Has got no self-respect. Like, she's essentially humiliated her husband, to over 2 million people. How many views does this video have at this point? Does it say? I don't see it. guys, but whatever. It's obviously over 2 million. So um, it's insane. And the criticism from other women is so like a betrayal of trust rather than anything.
And I brought it up again because I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you, like writing these vows is hard. I don't feel like we're any closer. I don't feel like anything has really changed since I brought this up 6 months ago, 9 months ago, whatever. And I want to work on our relationship. Like at the end of the day,
Wait. What do you mean you want to work on your relationship? First of all, what does he have to work on? He literally, by your own admission, he's a perfect husband. What else do you like want? You know, you love everything about him 100% of the time. And I'm quoting you from 5 minutes ago. Like what the fuck is he supposed to improve here? And by the way, quitting his job does not seem like an improvement of a man to me. That seems like a degradation of a man. Really, is he one anymore? So, and why is he still with you? uh this is just unbelievable.
of course, I could get a divorce.
Why haven't you, like, why are you working? Why did, if you told your husband you want a divorce, why isn't there a divorce already? Like what?
And try to go find the love that I'm craving with somebody else.
You won't, you dumb idiot. What a fucking stupid idiot. You won't. How do you think? You really think you're marketable at the in your 30s with 3 children, with social media presence that everybody can see, with your username? What the fuck is it again? Chaos with Camille? Like, honestly, like, you really and you, who is the love of your life? Because you literally said this guy, you love him 100%, everything that he's all about. Isn't he supposed to be the love of your life? Like, how can you upgrade from that? How can you upgrade from 100% of loving this man? What a, wow, guys. Like, honestly, God, there are some dating issues here in Thailand. It was not that easy to move here, and I'm still struggling to learn the language, right? But my goodness, every time I see a video and I remember, sometimes I meet Western women here, and I remember, wow, just escaping from this poison and this toxic human beings is worth everything. This is why the millionmanproject.com. You know what? I think this is a good time for me to play, because this is your only fucking choice, men in America and Europe. This is your only choice, and a chance to get the fuck away from it, and not become her husband. You understand what I'm saying? Wow. If you want to ditch modern women and move abroad for more traditional relationships, go to themillionmanproject.com, take my most comprehensive course, and change your life will be changed in so many ways. Not just upgrading and getting away from this shit, just in many other ways. Just like, it's a paradise here, and again, you don't have to come specifically to Thailand. There are Philippines, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam. There's South America, and even Africa, which I don't really recommend anymore. I went to Africa and done some dating there. Like, I apparently that train has sailed already. Did I say train sailed? Yeah. All right, let's keep watching. Ugh, do we have to?
But that's going to come with its own hardships, its own complications,
Yeah.
and ones that I'm not willing to take on, right? I love Ryan. He is the best father, okay? I just need to learn how to explain what I need from him in our relationship, and he needs to be able to give that, and I need to be doing the same for him.
Yeah, something tells me that you're not willing to do the same for him. And I have a feeling that this guy's quite satisfied with you for some reason. Well, not for some reason. He is a simp with no self-respect. But how hard is this to tell that? Like, by the way, we'd like to know, since you're sharing, we'd like to know, what is it that's missing from this perfect man as you've described him, and perfect father on top of that you just mentioned, by the way, 2/3 into the video, which should be one of his sort of best skills, right, and best qualities. And it's just, I'm rarely speechless, like, but like, when I started watching this video, I was like, wow, this is trash, right? But my goodness, just the fact how absolutely delusional
explain
she
what I need
is,
from
you
him in our
know?
relationship, and he needs to be able to give that, and I need
I need to tell him what I need, and he needs to give it back to me, right? Um, again, me. I don't think she's ready to give him anything that he wants, right? How about get to the fucking gym? I've watched some of her other videos. She looks skinny and pretty here, but I'm telling you, she is not skinny, right? And those three babies have definitely played a number on her. She can absolutely get to the gym and do better, at the very least in the physical appearance. But again, I guarantee you that he would like to, right? There's no man out there who marries a pretty skinny girl, then she pops out a bunch of babies, gets fat, right? Everything's sagging, and he's like, yeah, no, that's exactly what I had in mind. I'm just as attracted to her. Fucking bullshit. Bullshit. This is one of many reasons I never want to have kids, is because when I am with a girl, she's pretty and skinny and I like her, and I don't want that. I already know she's going to be getting older, so she ain't going to be any prettier, right? But I certainly do not want to speed up that process. That's also irreversible. So there's plenty of things that she could be doing for him. He's either too fucking simpy to tell her that, right? A lot of men are afraid to tell women to keep up with their appearance, right? Oh, I don't want to be shallow, whatever. I want to love her for who she is, all that bullshit. But it's like, this is the biggest benefit to be with a woman, that you have someone who you physically attracted to and have sex with in your home, right? Otherwise, why? Why? Like, honestly, why? All right, let's
to
keep
be
going.
doing the same for him, so that we can both, like, in 10 years from now, in the next 10 years, look back and say, like, we put in the work and we finally have the marriage and the relationship that we have always wanted. And
No, 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 no. I'm pretty sure he's very satisfied with his marriage. He's not asking for the divorce, right? You are. So don't tell me we both. This is how women gaslight, right? They want something unreasonable and they make it sound like it's our thing. No, it's your thing, bitch. It fucking, you want more than you deserve. You've more than even possible, and you still want it. Otherwise, you want to walk away. Like, honestly, if I was her husband, I would be like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. Let's see how you do back in the streets.
that is what I want. um I guess the reason why I'm coming on here, and if you've made it this long, that's really nice.
That was painful, not nice. It was painful. But yeah, I think men need to see this. What to expect from the girls that they're dating right now, and hopefully thinking about proposing.
What have you done in your relationship to get to that point? If you have been in a place where we are, and have worked through it and have found things that have brought you closer, or that have given you that relationship, like, I'm just, I guess, asking for advice. Like, what have you done in order to get there, and what has worked for you?
You're not asking for advice. Let's be face it. This is another gaslighting, typical classical gaslighting. A woman's asking for advice. First of all, women give the worst advice to each other, right? So she's not asking advice from men. I guarantee you that. And if she is getting it, which she does, look, all of this sounds like it's from men, right? Like, look, here's one. God, please don't ever put me in a position where my wife is asking TikTokers to save our marriage. A good marriage is a boring one. Peace is the goal. Absolutely agree, right? All of these men are giving her advice. Basically, stop being a shitty wife, right? You think she's going to listen to that? Absolutely not. She is looking not for advice, but for validation, and not from anybody, but specifically from other women and simps, to say, yeah, you go get it, you deserve it, girl, you're the princess. Oh, if you don't think 100% is enough, the guy who you love 100%, who's a good husband, a good provider, and good this and good that, perfect guy, you don't think that's enough? Well, that is not enough. Yeah, you go and leave that man and fuck up all of your children's lives just so you can go ahead and do something better and find the love of your life and who meets all of your demands and requirements, right? That's what she's asking for, because the real advice is, holy fuck, like, just stop fucking being yourself. Go and improve yourself, or let this man go. Get a divorce. Let him, because he, like I tell you, her husband, when he comes here, if he comes here to Thailand or Philippines or whatever, he will forget her in 3 seconds. Like I said, I can't wait to meet his 25-year-old Thai girl who will be cooking and cleaning and giving him massages and all that stuff, right? It's just like it's so that's what my advice is. Go ahead with the divorce. Just go ahead, file the papers today. This let this man be free, and he'll be better off. And then you will taste the bitter reality of being a single mother of three in your 30s with this attitude and this social media presence. Do it. Do it.
We're honestly willing to try anything. We have done therapy
No,
and
you're not.
counseling before.
Wow. She's not willing to try anything, but
And it was fine, honestly.
well, it wasn't fine. If you tried counseling and you still want to divorce your husband, so obviously it wasn't fine. I gotta tell you, I've gone to couples therapy as well. I can tell you when women are not happy with therapy is when what therapists do, what they did with my it was my first relationship. The therapist basically told my girlfriend and saying, "Oh, you're changing the most important thing in your relationship, the model in which relationship, because my first girlfriend, just like all of them, were submissive and traditional, and she decided, oh, my other girlfriends don't seem to keep." Cook and clean and give massages to their husbands, and their husbands, bring them all this money and flowers and stuff like that and simp for them. I want the same thing, right? And I was like, no, I don't. And so the therapist was like, yeah, you can't just say that you still want the same thing from your man, but not provide anything that you've been providing as a woman. And she didn't like that. She's like, oh, I don't like this therapist. I'm like, well, you're not going to like any therapist because every therapist will most likely tell you that you're being unreasonable and you don't want to pull your end of the bargain while you want me to continue to do mine. Like, that's just what every therapist and really any logical person would do. And she's like, yeah, I don't want to go to therapy anymore. I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you. I see how it's uncomfortable to be called out on your bullshit, right? Like, except for like you thought it was just me, but apparently even when a stranger, a professional stranger enters our lives, they go like, fuck you. You're a horrible woman. This man should be better off without you, right? So that's what I guarantee you happened in their therapy, right? Because it was fine means like, well, it wasn't fine, right? You still want a divorce. You're still not happy.
It wasn't like my favorite thing, but I'm willing to try that again. And
Are you?
I don't know. Books, podcasts, like what have you guys done that has worked for you to get your marriage to where you want it to be?
Well, speaking for your husband, what people have done to be happy, they divorced women like you and moved to Southeast Asia. But
Um, I just don't like thinking, okay, we've been married for 10 years and we've kind of like been at this same point the whole time. I just don't want to look back 10 years from now and not have tried my best to have this like relationship that we both want and that we deserve and that our kids deserve to see.
oh, why finally she's mentioning her kids and what they deserve. So nice of her to say that. Again, this word deserve is such bullshit for anybody. Usually women use that, right? There's no such thing. There's nobody deserves anything, right? Like, you have to work for shit. And even when you deserve stuff, in your 30s, you should know that that's not how life works, right? I put this content, I work, without weekends. I put together this live stream and then repost and another video, and like I work so hard, but I deserve a million subscribers. I think my message is so important to every man that this channel should be blowing up. But that's not the fucking reality. I know that, I've had a successful YouTube channel before. I know it takes a couple of years of doing this for free and working really hard and treating it like it's your job, and producing good content, and nobody wants to watch. But then you get one fan or another fan, and you start, you know what I mean? Like, so I can say all I want. I deserve a million subscribers, but that's not how life works, right? A lot of it is hard work without pay. A lot of it is failure. A lot of it is just luck. You know what I mean? Like, one time I produced a video that will be yet another decent video that I think, but that's the video that's going to blow up, right? Like on TikTok, I actually had I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers, which is okay, not bad for a half a year old channel, but it's because like one video blew up, right? It's not like all of my videos were just consistently giving me subscribers. No, just one video just got lucky, and then that what gave me subscribers. Speaking of loyal viewers, let's get back to The Rock. He clarifies. He says, government and simp are quite similar to each other. Both want to please a woman, even modern. You know what? You have a point, actually. It's very interesting. But government has a different reasons, right? Women have selfish reasons, but government that's really run by men, even American government still runs by men. That's what's weird about it, that it's essentially run by men who are in power, who are simps at the end of the day, right? Single parenthood can really exist only when society subsidizes it heavily and it is paid mostly by single men. I don't know. There's a good number of single women here in Thailand as well, and they get nothing. They don't even get child support. If you're a single mother here, you're fucked, right? And then what they do is, they end up sending their kids, which is actually a good way to handle it, right? They send their kids to the province to be raised by their grandparents, right? So at least the child has a full-time parent, both of them, the mother and the father. Um, and then you know what the single mother does? She slaves away 6 7 days per week, providing for those children in the province, right? So women absolutely get punished much harder than men. As a matter of fact, I think it's all unfair here the other way around, right? Where in America it's more unfair to the men with the child support and all of that stuff. So but yeah, I see your point in terms of the government being sort of almost more in bed with the wives than their husbands are. And then he continues to say, any country whose government spoils women is doomed, even without Sims. Well, see, I disagree that because, like, for example, I am not a simp, right? So therefore, even if when I was America, even from my early age, I knew I was not going to get married because I was making good money from the very beginning. I knew that divorce rapes men, it's called divorce rape, like hello, Paul Elam. And and then I never got married. I've had 3 marriage-like relationships where most men would have gotten married, signed the papers, and I was like, no, no. I even told, like, my last girlfriend, I said, people who met us recently, they all think we're married, we're husband. They call us Mr. and Mrs. Guberman, right? I said, well, I don't want to get married, but like, do you want to like get rings? Because like, as far as they are concerned, we're married. We just don't want to be legally married. At least I don't. And she's like, I don't give a shit about the rings either. So I was like, yeah, that's my girl. So so yeah, if you're not a simp, if you have some self-respect in America and some sense, you either don't get married. Why the fuck do you need to get married? You just tell yourself, you say, listen, honey, I can provide everything for you that you want. You love me. I'm a good man for you and all that stuff. The only thing I'm going to give you is a signature. Okay, sorry. And the reason I'm going to do it is because the laws are stacked against me. I don't want you to get a big cash offer right away from the government to divorce me. It's against my interest, and it's against the interest of the marriage that you're proposing. Or get a prenup. Now, I still believe prenups are, but the prenup should be this, by the way. The prenup should say zero. You get zero. You get whatever it is you entered in this relationship with, okay? If you brought in maybe some cash from your savings, which a lot of women don't, or whatever, you leave with that. Now, if you started a business with your wife, you're a fucking idiot. That's a whole different story. That, yes, then of course you're going to ruin the business or 50, whatever, right? But we're talking about just general traditional marriage where your woman is not your fucking co-worker at the same time. That's fucking ridiculous. But that is what you do. You basically have a prenup and say you get nothing. Okay, if you want to marry me and you truly telling me that you're not here to rob me, then you get nothing. You get, every prenup should say the same thing. You get nothing. Before we finish watching the video, Louis says there's a Muslim man in Southeast Asia with 4 wives, and the men have no jobs, no money, no education. Yeah, that is true. Listen, there are lots of stupid and shitty men. Don't forget that these 4 wives, I don't know if they chose, like, if this is Southeast Asia. So these wives, like, by the way, this is not uncommon. 4 wives, that's just stupid and too many. I know some guys with, a wife with a girlfriend or 2 wives. And again, these wives know about each other. Sometimes they live together. That's the beauty about Thailand. Non-monogamy is not uncommon here at all. Very much accepted by society. And I've never been monogamous. I think that's fucking ridiculous. On top of that, that's even more reasons to move to Southeast Asia, but I digress. So yeah, I mean, listen, there are a lot of men who are losers, and there are a lot of women who pick those wrong men for themselves. So that happens, absolutely. But again, that's not really where I'm going with this. Listen, let's finish watching this disaster of the video. It's almost over.
Us. So I'm kind of being vulnerable and posting this on here, but
You're also being stupid, disloyal, dishonest, and many other things. But okay, we've
No,
talked about
like
that.
what has worked for you, and what advice I guess you would have for me.
Wow, what a disaster! What a disaster! Like I said, you know, I would love to interview her husband, right? Interviewing her would be great, but interviewing her husband would be the amazing interview I've always wanted, honestly. But the thing is, he will never agree to it, obviously, because she will also tell him not to. And she, as a matter of fact, wives like her usually do not allow her husbands to have men like me around. They sniff it out real quick. I've lost many new friends in America over my almost 48 years, no, 48 years, I guess. And it's because when either I meet a friend and then I meet his wife and she meets me and she goes like, oh, no, we can't have Alex around my husband. He will red pill the fuck out of him before it was even called red pill, right? He will tell him, he will explain, and then they're like, do not hang out with this guy. And of course, those guys go like, okay, whatever it takes to keep getting, laid once a month. And or I would have a friend and then he would start dating a girl and she will be like, oh, this guy that I'm dating has got this friend who will absolutely make sure that this relationship is not going to last because I know that I'm kind of fucking this guy over. I'm just trying to suck money out of him or making my bitch, and that friend Alex is definitely going to interfere with that. So I lost friends to that as well. But just the other day, I have a friend here who came here, married a Thai girl, who's a single mother. So yeah, and now he had to go back to his country of origin for a few months to earn money because as a foreigner, it's almost impossible to find a job here, especially high-paying job where you can provide for his wife who fucking doesn't work and her child. So and while he's slaving away at the night shift, but on top of that, in that country, away from his family, who's he's providing, and yet his wife is still not getting a job to at least, forget about helping him out, but at least provide for her child, who's not his child, right? Because the loser that she had a child with, obviously not paying child support because she picks winners, and and the other day I think she got upset with him for something and she decided to stop talking to him for a few days, right? And I told him, I said, listen, man, I understand, like, you understand that you she needs you more than you need her, right? She has nobody to provide for her. Obviously she's not providing for herself or her child. You're slaving away doing that. If you ever dump her, she will find nobody. She lives in the province. She's aging, into her 40s. She is a single mother. You are the best thing that ever happened to her, right? And she has the balls to like leave you on red and not, like, how disrespectful, right? So I had to tell my friend, and he's like making excuses for her and goes like, yeah, but I love her child. It's like, oh fuck, see, this is the thing. Like, this is not even your child and you're willing to stay with a woman who's disrespecting you while you're giving her everything. She's giving you nothing, you know and yet, you're now stuck because of the child. It is a mess. It is a mess. Like, I have failed to red pill so many men because they're just stuck in their simpy ways. They like, I was like, how the fuck is your wife disrespecting you like this? You know what I mean? And I was like, I told him, I was like, I've noticed that she's disrespected you before. Do you realize it? And she's like, well, she's not perfect and I'm not perfect. I'm like, yeah, dude, this is yeah, but I don't want to lose a friend either, right? He's such a nice guy, and his wife has been always been nice to me. She's never been a bitch to me. It's just I think she's a bad wife to him. But this is how these guys get stuck in these relationships, and it's quite sad. Um, Rock says your friends are Sims, probably. I only have one friend. I have many friends. I don't have like a best friend, right? I have a friend who's like by definition the senior friend because we've known each other for over 30 years, which is pretty good accomplishment, right? And because I'm not even 50 yet. So we've known each other ever since I lived in Russia. right? So I've known him through living on three different continents, and you know, so I have like bunch of just best friends, right? And I'm even including like second tier friends who are like not best friends, but they're friends, and a lot of times it's because you've known them for a while, right? So I only have one friend that is not a simp. And even his relationship, he lives here in Thailand, and his relationships essentially were he bought his girlfriend and now wife. You know what I mean? He just did. And we've talked about it. You know, I don't want to press it. He knows my opinion about it. He thinks red pill is all bullshit and stuff like that. Of course, couldn't red pill him either. But he's not a simp. He's the only one. So he's not a simp, but he's a guy who kind of bought a Thai girl, right? And so that's much easier not to be a simp when you're essentially kind of paying for the product, but it is what it is. um and the rock says sims don't like their women being criticized by strong men. That is true. And sims don't like being criticized either. Like I told you the other day, I literally got threatened physical violence by this guy who, granted, I was a little too straightforward, but he came here to Thailand, you know, just met me at some mixer, and he had his girlfriend there. I'm like, oh, how long have you been here? He's like, 8 months. I'm like, whoa, you got a girlfriend with the first one? You know, like everybody recommends to not do that. He's like, yeah, I know. I'm like, you know, and you still fucking did it. And I'm looking at his girlfriend. It's a fucking dressed like a hoe, has a fucking attitude on her face. Definitely no longer Thai, right? She's been westernized. Got fucking tattoos. She is drinking and smoking cigarettes. Like vaping is already a bad sign, right? But smoking cigarettes, I mean, literally, he picked up the worst fucking trash, as most guys who come here do, right? Because he's a loser himself. He has no self esteem. The American women beat that out of him before he got here, and he never got it back. And you know, it is what it is. So and yeah, he basically, as I was, and then you know, I was kind of nice to him. I said, listen, if this relationship ever ends, you know, I have a channel about this. Can I interview you? You know, in case if this wonderful angel of yours turns out not be your future wife, right? And he's like, okay, all right. So I got his. I really not didn't think I was going to hear back from him, but the next day he like reached out to me and he basically said, oh, can I see your channel? I was like, yeah, well, here's a video that you probably should see about, you know, a lot of like where I react to a man who essentially is you in like 5 years. But I'm gonna give you a little warning. You might end up dumping your girlfriend when you watch that video. Okay, just fair warning. That's what I said. And I said, listen, my channel is helping, you know, men to not end up in that situation. And he's like, well, you know what? I can help you too. I can beat the shit out of you for insulting me and my girlfriend. I'm like, wow, this guy really doesn't know that you know, the only worst idea when you come here as a newbie to Bangkok, on top of that, not just Southeast Asia, the only worst idea than dating a girl and getting in a relationship with a tattooed ratchet Thai ho is to threaten the other dudes here in Bangkok. This is a very different universe. I know all of you see that, you know, this is a one, and it is the one of the best country, right? And you know, if you live here as just a good person and get along with everybody, the life is wonderful. But as soon as you start fucking with other people in any way, shape, or form, especially like people who's been here for a while, this can turn into hell for you, right? I mean, Bangkok will lead you a life. Thailand will lead you a life. Whether it's going to be a wrong woman, or you being a dick to other people, you don't know what connections they have and everything, you know, who they can bribe, who they know, and all that stuff, who they can hire out of Myanmar to do what to you, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, but I do, you know, and I told him exactly what I just told you guys. I said, like, this is a bad idea to do this, but I have a feeling that this guy will reach out to me in another half a year to a year and said, oh man, gee man, I'm really sorry, I was dick to you. I was kind of smitten by this girl and everything, you know. She fucked me over. Yeah. I think I'm ready for that interview. I think that's what's going to happen. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, once again, don't forget that if you are not already here in, you know, Southeast Asia or South, you know, America, just take a look. That's free. The millionmanproject.com. Just take a look at my just the list of things that you would have to do and the benefits you're going to get, but also the work you're going to have to put in to come here and never, ever, 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 ever have your wife make a video like this, because honestly, you don't have a choice in um, in the country of your origin. So yeah. All right. Well, guys, I go live every day. It's midday here, noon here, 10 a.m. in to 10 p.m. in California, and so figure that out. I'll do it every day. I won't do it on Monday and probably Tuesday because I'm getting my hair transplant surgery done. But other than that, I'll see you here tomorrow. And of course, as always, I will leave you with this. All right, peace.
If you want to ditch modern women and move abroad for more traditional relationships, go to themillionmanproject.com, take my most comprehensive course, and change your